But Adam, I figure we can kind of move away from talking about games that are coming out in the future and talk about one that just came out recently. Uh, Figure we can do a little untimely review for Knockout City. We've both had an opportunity to play it. If you're new to us, we are not affiliated with any sort of gaming publishers. We don't have any relationships with them. So we don't get our games for free. And so we pay for them just like you do. And in this case, we got it as I'm assuming you got the free trial version, right?
Yeah, and I mean,
Uh,
now the free trial is available to anybody until you hit level 25, I believe now. So
hmm.
that was smart on their part to do that
Yeah.
because let's be completely honest, a week is not enough time.
No. And this is a game that'll benefit from having the longer it lasts, like you want people coming in later. Like if you gave it 10 days, like you're gonna have a lot of people who never got to it. And this is a game that people need to try. So let's get into it and we can talk a little bit later about, the strategy in terms of rolling this out. But Adam, surface level, what are your thoughts on Knockout City?
I hate it and I love it at the same time, and I'm not really sure which one comes first.
All right, why don't you break that down for us? Why do you love it?
I love the art style. I love the idea of dodgeball, and I love the fact that it's not like some crazy like the way that they made it sound like it almost seemed like it was some battle royale thing. I'm glad that it's more like arena competitive. So
Mhm.
I was happy about that. The downside to that is that when I suck like I do, it is not fun sometimes. It is a lot of not fun.
Yeah, so I have a similar experience to you. Like I played it and it was fun to play it, but like I wasn't very good at it either, but I felt like it wasn't punishing to the point that like, oh man, screw this, I'm out. I don't want to play this. It was I was playing it and I'd get knocked out and I'm like, okay, I want to get back in there and I want to play it.
I also don't
Um,
know if there was skill based matchmaking at all when they do these, so that's the hard part. Because there were some games where I felt like there was nothing I could do. Like I was just taking on like esports level guys. So it's hard to
yeah.
tell.
Yeah, I think in terms of gameplay, like I'll start with gameplay. Like, I think the game loop that they have here is awesome. I think having smaller teams, 3 on 3, great call. I like the fact that there's no sort of that, it's automatic locking. There's no sort of challenge there. I do sometimes feel that the locking is kind of weird and it doesn't always get who I want it to get. And I kind of like the map layout's really easy. Like it does feel like an old arcade, like arena shooter kind of idea, and I really like that. I do feel that it was a little, one-sided in terms of like you could have someone who knows exactly what they're doing versus someone who's just trying it out. But I mean, there's no real way of like preventing that.
Yeah.
Um, so I thought it was really good. The problem is I don't know how long I stay with it. Like it's fun and I played it, but like I don't know. This is a game. I feel like this is a game that would have benefited from being on PlayStation Plus or I believe it is on Xbox Game Pass. But I feel like that's how this game should have been delivered. And I think
This. Oh, sorry.
having a game to like level 25 is a definite good way of going about doing it.
This is a game, honestly. Like this is very similar to what Destruction's All Stars is for me, where
Hmm.
it's fun, but I cannot play this for long stretches.
Hmm.
I played it on stream for just over an hour, and I legitimately wanted nothing to do with the game when I was done with it. I'm like, I have
Okay.
played way too much. I'm done. I could pop in, play 3, 4 rounds, probably be happy with it. Unless I'm on a hell of
Yeah.
a roll, then maybe it's okay. But like, if you're like having just even one really frustrating loss, man, it is hard to kind of go back. Maybe it's just the kind of person I am personally, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't see this game being the kind of thing that I can do over and over and over unless I'm trying to be like, this has esports potential, I think.
It does.
So if that was my thing, then it would be a whole different ballgame for me. But because I'm just a casual kind of, I'm just trying to have some fun. Sometimes I don't know if this is the right thing. I think if they added bots, I could probably have some more fun with it. But playing against humans, sometimes because I don't know how the matchmaking runs, it can be pretty frustrating. And I think that's probably the big part of it for me is that in the same vein of like playing single player games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, sure, I might enjoy like some stretches, but I also don't enjoy the really rough stretches, and it makes me not want to play it for long stretches. And that's kind of what Knockout City did to me.
See, for me, I disagree. I find that it is a perfect balance. It's easy to pick up, but like there's definitely some skill and mastery that can be involved. And it reminds me a lot more, not so much of like Destruction All Stars, but more like Rocket League, where it's easy to pick up. I can kind of get someone and just say, yeah, here's dodgeball. Like, the rules of dodgeball. There's a little bit of nuance in terms of, the special balls, but the fact that it even keeps it simple is like there's one special ball. Like it's not hard to teach, it's not hard to get. and I could get my friends in and we can play, a couple rounds and have a lot of fun. But if I wanted to take this to an esports level, like I could get competitive with it. And so I think it strikes that good balance of hard to master kind of aspect, and I think that does well for it. But at the same time, it does have it is missing something that just grasps me from saying like, yeah, I want to purchase it. And I think that's why it is good that they went to the level 25, free to play kind of experience.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, like even with Rocket League, for example, like it's still one of those games that like I don't think I could go like 3-4 hour stretches on.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's honestly like if it was free to play, which I kind of wish they'd gone with in the first place, but it is what it is. This is the game that like if you own, like this is like the game with like a bunch of your friends where you like you pop this one in and then you go for an hour, you pop something else in, and then you do that and you pop something else in. Like that's the kind of thing it works really well for. But like as someone who would want to who usually like plays for long stretches of stuff, this ain't it. This isn't going to be it for me. Obviously other people will find reasons to like it, especially if you're a very competitive like online gamer. But like, man, I'm too chill for that shit anymore. I've lost my voice way too many times playing competitive games. I can't do that no more.
Yeah, in terms of level design, how did you find the level design? I found that like they're really open, but it just ended up being like everyone just clustered in one little area.
Yeah, I don't think this game puts itself well to maps like this. It's just it's way too easy to not care about what's around you so much as like where the player points are. So you're not really paying attention to the map.
Yeah, and that's something I was playing as well. Like we were playing a level with like it almost looked like a construction building. It wasn't this one, but it looked it had like levels and stuff, and I barely explored it because we all just ended up getting put into one little choke point, and I would get knocked out, and then my my two teammates would be there, so I would just run back, and then they would get knocked out, and we just all kind of just kept spamming that one little area. So I find that there's not a lot of open space, and so you end up fighting in like little corridors, which is kind of weird. But overall, I liked it. I thought I think it's neat. And I definitely think it has legs, but I think definitely putting it as a 25 level free to play game is the way to go.
Yeah, it at least keeps people hanging around a little bit longer now.
Yeah, because this is a game that's going to live or die by its player base.
Yeah.
But I think it'll also benefit from like word of mouth and like as people start playing it and like, hey, you got to check this out, and they start playing with friends, like that'll definitely be something that benefits them.
Yeah, 100%.
So in terms of you, we don't typically. Well, I guess we do every time now. What would you give this in terms of a score?
It's a 7. It's good.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I completely agree. Yeah, I'd put this at a I'd put this at I'd put this at an 8. If you're playing it for the free version, I'd put it as an 8. If you're paying for it, I'd probably put it down to like a 6.
I definitely don't think it's worth $30 at start.
Yeah, I feel like
there's not enough there for $30.
No, I feel like this is I think you're right. I think it should have gone free to play, or free to play with like some cosmetic microtransactions. But I think the way that they're doing it now is okay
for the time being, and we'll see how the player base thinks about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that'll be interesting to see where this falls. Like, I already kind of feel like the game has kind of fallen off the radar a little bit. And maybe
well, you figure that's probably why if they suddenly changed how the free trial runs. So
yeah, I kind of feel like the game maybe didn't come out at the right time, seeing as we had like a bunch of games just on the horizon and a bunch that just came out, and so maybe it got overshadowed. And it could have been like if this had dropped in July, like that probably would have been an awesome time to have done it.
Yeah, for sure.
So awesome. Yeah, no, but I would check it out. It's definitely free to play, and I would definitely recommend playing it if you guys have the inkling. But yeah, try before you buy is where I'd put it. So